pleased to be joined now by Illinois head coach Brad Underwood in studio, starting year 6, Brad, in Champaign. A lot has happened in that time, both good and bad for your program, but I want to start with this 10,000-foot view. Can you believe it's year 6 already, and how do you sum up what your time has been?
No, it's amazing. Time flies when you're having fun, but yeah, it's hard to imagine year 6. There's been so many positive things happen. It's been really fun to see, and again, time flies. But when you're in a great spot, you're building something that you're very proud of and you're excited about. It seems to go a little faster when those things are happening. So couldn't be happier. And
the good times certainly make the hard times, at least at the beginning, worth it, I'm sure. How have you changed in that time as a coach?
Well, I've tried to stay pretty consistent, at least in my approach to building the program. We've tried not to waver. The first 2 years were tough. We knew that coming in. We knew there was going to be challenges. Nothing goes without having a speed bump or two in the way, and that happened the first 2 years. But we established our culture. We laid the foundation. We got the right guys in the program that helped establish that. And when you do that, the scoreboard might not always read in your favor, but you feel very good about the process. And I'm a process-oriented guy. And so we never really wavered on that in terms of the guys we wanted to go get, the state champions, the national champions. Every guy in our programs has won. That was first and foremost. But you know, then as they got older, through the strength and conditioning, through the experience factor, the wins started to happen, and that's where it's really fun as a coach to see the growth that happens within each individual and each team. And so I've been very pleased with that part of it.
You spent a lot of time this offseason talking about this new look roster. Gone are guys like Kofi Coburn. You've said repeatedly you knew you had 20 and 10 every game. DeMonte Williams, Trent Frazier, those guys you really built with. And you've said there's an excitement about that, but what are the concerns as well as you try and work through this and getting closer to the season here?
Well, experience. I mean, just literally experience. And you start putting guys in situations where realistically 75% of your games are going to be 2 possessions or less. And so knowing that you've got Trent Frazier, knowing that you've got DeMonte Williams, they've been through so many of those. Kofi, you know, this is the first time in really 3 years I haven't known exactly where I'm going with the ball at the end of the game. So, you know, you've got to understand how guys react in those situations. You know, we start a season, you know, they're going to play in front of 15,600 fans. Some of them have never done that. Some of them haven't seen that in their entire season. So, you know, how guys react in those moments, it will be different. And you know, when you've got veterans, you know how they're gonna act in game-winning situations. So, but this is a pretty tough, resilient group. So I think we'll be okay there as we move forward.
Have you ever had 10 guys leave or move on from a program? I mean, that's almost an entire team.
Yeah, junior college years. Okay. But you know, I think it's just the way things are today. You know, yeah. I think you're going to see that more of a common thread than anything else. And you know, it's being able to adapt. It's being able to make decisions on the fly. You're going to see roster development so much later, May, June, you know, even into July, you know, as the draft happens. And at this level, we're going to have draftable guys. And so those decisions don't happen until a little bit later. So, you know, what your actual roster is and how you get to start building it happens so much later. So, you know, it's going to be the norm. That's the transfer portal. But we're going to make do with it and put the best group we can out there.
You've seemed to embrace that pretty well. Is that true?
Yeah.
With NIL, transfer portal, how tough has that been for you? I consider you like an old school coach. Is that fair? And this is all new school stuff, Brad.
Yeah, I think my experience as a junior college coach has really helped.
Sure.
You know, I've been at that level for 8 years, and then you know, there's no sense complaining about it. You know, there's no sense, you know, fighting it. It's here, it's there, and we're the University of Illinois. And we have a lot to offer. We've got a brand new practice facility. We've got a newly renovated arena. We've got passionate fans. We've won more games in the Big Ten last 3 years than anybody. We've got a lot to sell. So let's go attack it. And you know, when you compile that and you put all that together with the top 15 public institution for education, you've got a lot to offer. And You know, we've just said this is going to be good for us, and NIL is going to be good for us, and we've taken a very positive approach to both those scenarios.
You get an early loss in your season already with Luke Goody going down. How did that happen, and what does that mean for you guys moving forward? He was certainly a big piece for you guys.
Yeah, I'm just sick for Luke. He was playing so well. We had him penciled in as a starter. He's just an effort play. He just made an effort play. He stepped on a young guy's foot, another opponent's foot in our scrimmage, and sure enough, it's one of those things that happens when you play athletics, and unfortunately, he's out for short term. We'll see what it looks like. He'll have some surgery, and we hope to have him back before too long. We'll see what that looks like. But big loss. He's so vocal. He's been in big games, and his confidence was through the roof. So we'll miss him, but guys got to step up, and it's not the first time we've had injury or sickness, and guys are going to have to take up the slack.
So who do you look for in that situation?
Yeah, I think Ty Rodgers. I think Sincere Harris. I think even multitude of guys. Matthew Meyer may have to play some longer minutes. We slide some guys down and around, and maybe move Coleman around a little more. So it'll be by committee. We miss Luke's shooting. He's an elite shooter. I don't know if we replace that, but you got to make up for it in other areas. And we got some young guys that are they're going to have to learn on the fly, and they're going to be thrown into that flux with Luke out.
You mentioned the three-point shooting. Is it safe to say you guys won't be the same three-point shooting team as last year when Alfonso could just let it fly? And who are your three-point shooters this year?
Yeah, there's not Alfonso Plummer. And I don't know if I can ever coach another Plummer. I hope so. He was elite, and he was a great hard shot maker. We're different. RJ's very, very good shooter. Matthew Meyer, very good shooter. Terrence Shannon, very, very good shooter. You start looking at Sky Clark, very, very good shooter. Jaden is going to be a high 30, low 40% three-point shooter. So I like this team. Coleman Hawkins, the Coleman everybody saw last year is not going to be the Coleman that people see this year. He's been extraordinary in terms of shooting the basketball throughout our practices and our early scrimmage. So I like this team and our ability to shoot it. I think it's a real strength, and we just won't have that one guy like Plummer that and Jake was a very good shooter, as was Trent. But we'll do it in different ways, and I think we've got a lot of guys who can do that.
Luke gets hurt in that secret scrimmage. I love how it's secret.
Yeah.
Right? It is what it is. What else did you learn about your team, though, in that time, and how valuable was that to go up against another national champion, to see where you guys were at?
Yeah, there's no doubt we faced an extremely well-coached team, and we went in naked. We didn't scout. We didn't prepare. We didn't even talk about any of their personnel. And we just wanted to see where we were at. And we did some things really, really well. I think the one thing I was the most excited about is our freshmen acted like they belonged. And it wasn't where they were intimidated. I thought defensively we did some very, very good things. Offensively, we stayed very, very vanilla. We didn't throw a lot of actions out there. We just tried to execute and play basketball. We did some good things. We didn't. We got the ball into the paint a lot, which we've been working on and trying to do. But again, and I thought we did a good job of competing on the glass, and that'll always be a challenge. Again, Kofi's not here, so everybody's going to have to gang rebound.
Yeah. Do you need games, in a sense, to see where you're at?
Yeah.
Practice is great, but how valuable will these first 3 or 4 games be before you really get tested in Vegas?
Yeah, there's no doubt. You've got to see how guys play. It's for me, it's about knowing your team. And I don't know our team yet. I've seen them in practice, and I know what I think we're capable of, but how they react to a different opponent who does something different. All the scenarios that teams can throw at you defensively, how guys react, to a certain ball screen coverage, or to being trapped, or to, a press, whatever it is. You've got to see that. And so I'm excited about these early games and these early opportunities. And are we going to make mistakes? Absolutely. But that's part of growth. And I think we'll play hard. I think we'll play fast. And I think you'll see a lot of guys play.
We talked this time last year about using that NCAA tournament disappointment as fuel, but with so many new guys, do you even talk about that this year? How do you approach that?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, and I think that's one of the things that bringing Terrence Shannon, been to an Elite Eight, Matthew Meyer winning a national championship. Those experiences we need to aim towards, and we need to learn from those. And that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. You have a bad day or a bad matchup, and you lose and you go home, and everything is forgotten. And we don't want to forget that. We don't want to forget winning a Big Ten championship. We don't want to forget being one of the top seeds. And injuries happen, whatever the reasons. All we got to do is try to get back there and be playing our best when we get there. And but we talk about it a lot. That's the end goal. We're not here just to try to win a Big Ten championship. We're trying to win a national championship.
Is there anything else that you've pinpointed in the offseason here, like going back and looking at the last 2 years, or even your career, Brad, and just saying, how do we maximize the most in March?
Yeah, so much of it's matchup. You look at how well we've played going into the year we were the 1 seed going into the tournament. We were rocking and rolling. We won the tournament. That's an emotional challenge, winning the Big Ten tournament and then getting back up, and especially the COVID year. I think every great program's had those moments where you get upset, you get beat, and I try not to say, well, this caused it or that caused it. Sometimes it's a tough matchup. Sometimes, Io had a really bad day, and that's unfortunate. Last year we weren't very healthy. We missed Jake, and Trent was fighting an infected pink eye. Some of those were just unfortunate bad breaks, and we face a Houston team that's hot, and they're really good. So all I know is we're going to keep fighting to get back to the tournament, and you never know when that run's coming, and you make a deep run into hopefully play on Monday in April.
It seems like fans only care about the NCAA tournament, like, right, hey, the Big Ten championship is great and all of that. And I know that's not necessarily fair to a coach or a team or whatever else, because you guys have been, like you said, the most successful team in the Big Ten the last 3 years. But how does that rank for you? Because it's the grind of a season, right, and winning a Big Ten regular season title. Does that mean more than March, or how do you weigh those?
No, I think I don't look at them any differently. I think obviously we want to try to win a national championship. Our main goal every year is win a Big Ten championship. That's 20 games against the best teams in the country in all sorts of different environments, and that's a process. The NCAA tournament's one game, and one bad game and you lose. And when you can do something sustained for a long period of time, I think it tells a lot about your program. I think it tells a lot about the character of your team. And ultimately, yes, we want to do better in March, and we want to make that run, and we're capable. There's no doubt about that. But I don't put any more value that Sunday afternoon on that court. Winning the Big Ten championship will be something I never ever forget. It'll be one of the great moments in my life, no matter what happens. And that was fun. That created a lot of memories for a lot of people.
I remember it just being hot, Brad.
It was so
many people.
Hey, it was. I know what a mosh pit feels like, because it was great. But that was an unbelievable day and a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun to be in that moment, to see all those fans just celebrate that with your team there. One of those guys you helped recruit, Terrence Shannon Jr. here. How is he transitioning to being a go-to guy? He hasn't really done that on a team where, like, he's going to be the guy that seemingly is going to be your best player.
Yeah, he's healthy. First and foremost, that's been one of the biggest things. Is he feels great, with his body and where he's at, and he's a guy that's 6'7", 220, 225. He's strong. He's so athletic. Really has very few shortcomings on the court. Reminds me a lot of Io in his work ethic and his approach to the game. He's a relentless worker. But again, a guy with a lot of experience. The physicality, to hang in there night in and night out, I love. He's going to flourish with the speed and the pace that we try to play with. He's a guy that I think could very easily be at the foul line as much as anybody, not just in the Big Ten but in the country. He's a great attacker downhill, and he's so athletic. So I'm excited. He's got to have a very good year for us, and he shoots the ball much better than people think. And I'm excited with his package and to see how that translates.
You've touted Ty Rodgers as a guy who can do it all. I think of him as like a Swiss Army knife. He just is all over the court. But you've said you want him to play point guard. How much will we see him at point guard, and what does that look like as a freshman coming in, putting that much on him to play so many different areas?
A lot. But Ty's different. Ty's got an unbelievable maturity that is advanced beyond his years. And, I think the experience with USA Basketball this summer helped that. Again, you're talking about a guy who has a tremendous understanding of the game, not just a position, but of the game. And, you're going to see him play some power forward for us. He's been our leading rebounder almost every day in practice. He was our leading rebounder in the scrimmage, and just a phenomenal passer. And his reads, his IQ allow him to facilitate no matter what position he's playing. So we're a little positionless. He can score in the post. That excites me. Was seeing him at the point. We can run him into some matchups. But just a very mature guy.
Talk about recruiting for a second. What kind of heater is Tim Anderson on?
A good one. No, I think.
Do you tell him that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that we're only as good as the players we get to coach, and it's not just Tim. I think that all of our guys do a tremendous job of recruiting, of evaluating talent. And it's about evaluating talent that I can coach and that we want in our program. And it's more complex than it looks than just getting a guy. It's pretty deep, and yet there's a lot of options today with the portal. It's about relationships. Tim's fabulous. He's got a ton of connections through his through his EYBL stuff that he worked for years. Working for pro agencies, he's just got a lot of connections. So I'm glad he's wearing the orange and blue, and he's on my staff. And better than anything else, he's just a great person.
I asked Bret Beherns this earlier this year, and I just find it fascinating because we can't ask you about recruits when they commit, right? But how do you celebrate recruiting wins? Is there something you do that you can share with us, or?
It's usually a glass of wine and probably a good cigar, but they're hard battles.
Yeah, no doubt.
People don't understand the stress and all the work and the phone calls and the text messages and the trips and how much our staff, every day we're off, they're out recruiting, and it's time away from your families, and it's time away from our team, and I literally try to manage that and make them stay around our guys and stay home. But it's a lot of hard work, and when somebody calls and says, hey, we want to be a part of you, you feel like it's a great marriage. And we tell recruits all the time that, it's not, you've seen what we feel. We want you to feel the same about us. And man, you celebrate those moments. It's like winning a game, and you're ecstatic, and, you do backflips down the street, and know that you've got somebody that feels just as good about you as you do them.
I'd like to see you do some backflips down the street.
Yeah, that ship actually sailed a few years ago, but no, we have a lot of fun with him.
No doubt about it. I know you're a wine guy.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a favorite type? Or?
Oh, I'm a cab guy. I'm pretty much a cab. I drink the bolder, stronger, probably my favorite, but yeah, I'm pretty much into the cabs, but I'll sample just about anything.
Okay, good stuff. Let's do a couple quick hitters here. What's your order at Starbucks? 'Cause I know you're a big Starbucks guy.
Trenta iced coffee, 2 pumps of classic.
Is that every morning?
It's not as much.
You got to limit yourself.
As it used to be. I've got a svelte figure. I'm trying to keep on tap, but no, I'm a nice coffee guy.
There you go. Go-to meal. What's your favorite?
Oh, steak, baked potatoes, wedge salad, glass of wine.
Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's I'm pretty good. Throw a few mushrooms on it, and I'm good.
Love it. Go to vacation destination. You a beach guy?
Oh,
mountain guy?
Cayman Islands.
Okay.
Cayman Islands and the beach. Every year I can go, I'm going to go. It was great to get back this year after a couple years off.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Love the travel being back. Favorite genre of music, Brad?
Country.
Okay.
Country.
You got artists?
I've probably got Morgan Wallen going in the office right now.
How does everyone else view that? Is there any other country guys on your staff?
Tyler.
Or players?
Tyler. No,
Tyler.
but we have our moments where we control the sound in the gym.
Okay.
Every now and then, and no, we in fact I was kidding Terrence the other day. You know, living in West Texas, and going to school. I said, surely you got to have some country in you, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't understand it, but you know, he listened to a little Morgan Wallen as well, and so we get it in there about once every 2 weeks.
Okay, I love it. That's good stuff. If you weren't a coach, you'd be doing what?
Lawyer.
Okay, I can see that. You got
Lawyer.
like the fiery in you, you know?
Yeah, I would have.
Closing a case?
You know, I was a radio TV major, but I had a face for radio, and
As if we all don't.
yeah, and it's and I enjoyed that, but I would have probably gone to law school.
Okay, favorite basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Not even close.
Not
Michael
even
Jordan.
close. Wow.
Not even close.
Okay, not even Kareem. You ain't even anything
no,
else?
I loved
Walton?
I loved Wilt.
Sure.
I think he's one of the greatest athletes, most dominant player, maybe in the history of the game. But yeah, Jordan's competitiveness. You know, we're about the same age. You know, kind of in the same. Just to see, you know, it's such a great story. Get cut in high school, to become the greatest of all time. You know, I mean takes a little different guy to be that guy.
I know you like to swing it. What's your best golf score of all time?
68.
Hey, how long ago was that, though?
A while, probably going back. I was 14.
Wow. Okay.
So I grew up playing, and then I quit for 8 years, and now I'm just a hack.
You should have just said it was last week, and we all would have believed you. That was fine.
The guys that have seen me play this summer know better than they would have known that was a lie.
All right. I want to know: do you actually check Twitter, Brad?
No, not. Let me rephrase that.
Sometimes.
Not from September on.
Okay.
Now in the summer I'll check it because of recruiting and I'll
Yeah.
look at it. But I find out all my information either from Courtney on our staff and or our assistant coaches in recruiting. But I literally don't look at it.
Do you not like social media? You see the value of it in recruiting, obviously.
I don't care for it.
Okay.
I don't need the dopamine rush for all the positive, and I sure don't like all the negative. So
There's a lot of that.
my day's a whole lot better without it.
I agree with you there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, we'll close with this. If you can share a best referee story interaction that you remember that is safe for TV, Brad.
Yeah, so this goes back to when I was at an assistant with Bob Huggins at Kansas State. And everybody might remember Steve Wilmer. Steve Wilmer did Big 12, Big 10 games, and we're playing a bye game, and we're up really big. And it's the under 4 media timeout. We come out, the game's pretty much over, and Steve hollered at Coach Huggins. He said, "Hey, call timeout." He kind of looks like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Call timeout." The ball goes down to the other end of the court, and Huggins was like, "I'm not calling timeout. We're ahead. I want to get this over with." Steve blows the whistle, signals timeout when we have the ball, says it's a full, signals full timeout. And Coach Huggins was like, "What are you doing? Now I got to apologize to this coach for calling a timeout."
Sure.
And he goes, "Hey, you come here." So there was 3 of us, and he goes, "I'm going to point because the TV cameras are going to be on me." And he goes, "So I'm going to point like I'm referencing something." And he goes, "Hey, I got a really good dirty joke to tell you, and I knew I wouldn't see you after the game, so I wanted to make sure I told you." So, that's truly what goes on in college basketball referee and coach segments. But and Steve was one of the all-time great officials, but that's a moment I remember.
That's pretty good.
And I don't want to talk about the Ohio State game last year.
Yeah.
But I had to exit.
Do you get purposely thrown out of games?
I did that one.
Yeah. How many times have you done that in your career?
That was
the first time.
That was the first time.
Purposely said, I'm going to get thrown out.
Yeah, I told our staff before. I said, our only chance to win is for me to change the emotion of our team and the building. And so I didn't like the way it was going anyway. So it just, yeah, it's one of those things that you do what you have to do sometimes to win a game. And I felt that was the only place that I could utilize that. But I don't like to do that.
Is there a word or a phrase that you know will get you thrown out right away? Or does it change with different referees?
Different referees.
Okay.
Different referees. I set probably not the best tone before the game in that game, but yeah, you know, we monitor what calls are made and how many and from certain officials, and so you know, there's certain guys you know what you can say, and there's some you can say anything to and they don't care. You know, they come right back at you. So, but it's fun.